So today I'm gonna make a video on feeding my Amazon puffer, and most importantly it's mostly just on puffers in general, I guess you could say, because this kind of applies to all puffers. And but with the Amazon puffer it's a little bit a little bit different, just a little bit. But basically I'm probably gonna make this video on I don't know what I'm gonna title it, how to feed puffers or Amazon puffers, who knows. But the point is, we're going to show you just how to feed a puffer. And puffers, they're very different because most of them, especially like an Amazon right here, are obviously wild caught. And what that means is they're obviously used to hunting their own food. And just like aquarium fish that are raised in aquariums, they know they're going to get fed. And they know there's always going to be food coming from the top. They just know that. That's just what they know. Now, wild caught, it's just a little trickier. That's why a lot of people, especially like beginners, it's kind of not good. We don't recommend that you get wild caught fish. Some examples are like basically all the fish in here are wild caught right now. Amazon puffer and Otocinclus. That's what are in here at the moment. I just took out the other fish that's been giving me a headache for weeks trying to get out, but I finally got them out. And so wild caught, just like I said, they're they hunt themselves, and it's really tricky to get them to eat most of the time. And over time, they'll eventually adapt to what you feed them and how you feed them. That all happens eventually. But at first, you kind of have to kind of train them slash force them to it. And for a puffer, um, it could be kind of difficult. And what I do is, there's two different foods. When you first get your Amazon puffer or puffer in general, I think the best way is you need to get them eating. That's obvious. And bloodworms is a great way to get them started. Either that be the large size ones, just depending on how big your puffer is. For an Amazon puffer, just a small frozen. Yeah, and that's the other thing. The frozen ones are the best ones. So don't get like freeze dried, just get the frozen ones. And depending on bigger puffers, I don't know how many you'd have to feed, but this one usually eats about half a stick of bloodworms. So, and that just gets them fat and gets them nice and healthy. Get him a belly. Get him eating, and that kind of gets his mind knowing that he's gonna get fed. I would do that for a good month, maybe a little bit longer. And then eventually, this gets the tricky part. You go on stuff like this, clams. Now, what you want to get is on the half shell, because if you get full shell, you're gonna have to crack the clam open, and that's no fun. So on the half, they're basically already split in half, and you get this big old smelly bag of clams. But they're good for puffers. They're probably good for a lot of things, but these are really good for puffers in general. And these are very healthy and natural too, so it's not no prepared food. And what this clam does, you might be asking, why do we feed them clams? Well, what the clam does is trim down their teeth, and with the Amazon puffer, it's really critical that you do that. Now, luckily, some puffers will just gnaw on stuff themselves. Like if you have rocks like I do already, they'll gnaw their teeth themselves. Now, that's not always the case, and you kind of have to expect that to not be the case. My puffer, I've been seeing him do that lately, so I'm hoping that he kind of keeps doing that. I don't know if that's exactly what he was doing, but he was gnawing on some rocks. So we'll just see over time. I'll check his teeth, and I'll obviously give you guys updates on what's going on with mine. I keep track of all that, so for my puffer, he doesn't need a whole clam, obviously. So what I do is, if you take a knife, you can easily split the clam in like half, or I do in fourths. So I take one and split it into 4 pieces. Basically, just get a little slice of clam like this, and with the meat on top. And you just drop it in your tank. Now I want it. Most people like to, I guess you could say defrost. I guess you could say, but put it in the water and let it, all the frozen go away. I like to do is just drop it in there as is. You know, it's already going to be melted by the time it's in the water because your water's probably going to be close to 80 degrees. And it's going to melt in there. But I like to do frozen because it kind of gives them an extra kind of hardness to chew on. And, you know, that can help us too. But as they're chewing, they're going to be gnawing on this clam. Now, after the clam, you're going to want to take the clam out. Because unless you just want a bunch of clams on the bottom of your substrate, go right ahead. But after they eat all the meat off, or pretty close, you can take a net and scoop the clam right back up. But I like to do this, and I actually dug this right back out of the tank because I wanted to get a video of this. But and the other fish is bowling him, so he wasn't like letting him eat this. And so I'm hoping this time he'll actually. But here's the Amazon puffer. As you can right there, little cute little thing. But we're gonna drop it right now. And just kind of see what he does. This is the second time he's ever ate these. The first time was kind of a fail, so I'm hoping. And the first time I actually got a little this is actually really good if you have a bunch of fish with them. This being its own species, it doesn't matter too much. But if you have a lot of other fish, I'd get like a little plastic tub filled up with water and just let it float at the top and keep the Amazon puffer in there. Because Amazon, obviously puffers, if you have like an Amazon puffer and you have a community tank with it, it's kind of hard to feed it clams when all the other fish are eating it for him. So to keep the puffer nice and healthy, you want to obviously feed him kind of separate, so you can make sure he's getting, you know, what he needs. And so that's kind of a good thing. This being its own species, I did that the first time and it was a failure. He jumped out the lid, and yeah, that's when I finally bought a hood and, you know, this back trim right back here, because I finally learned that he can actually jump. So be aware that puffers can jump, and trust me, they will. I just experienced that not too long ago. And yeah, so if you have a bunch of fish, you know, try to feed it separate in a container. That might take a couple tries to, you know, get them used to that. But if it's just a species only like this tank, no problem just feeding it right here. Just make sure you clean your mess up, because especially if at 88, it's gonna move all around. He's gonna make a mess afterwards. So he doesn't look. He was going towards you at first. I don't. Here he comes again. He might just stare at it and kind of take knobs at it. I'm just gonna leave it there for about an hour and just see what he does. I'm trying to get him used to it, you know, see if he'll just eat little chunks at a time, and then eventually he'll just know it's his food. So you kind of have to train him. Another thing is, if he still doesn't eat it, you can actually probably poke a little hole through the actual shell part, maybe get a little fishing string, and actually kind of move it. Like move it across the bottom or even the top, whatever you want to do, and it will look like alive, you know. There it goes, biting it now. Looks like, you know, live bait. And that can get them kind of attracted. That's another way, you know, if your puffer's not eating, you know, definitely something to try. But yeah, the bloodworms, I'm trying to get them on clams early, because I don't want to feed them too much bloodworms and kind of get them, see what he does with clams. But whoa, he's dragging that thing around. Puffers are strong, so they'll drag these clams, they'll bite right through them. It's, you know, as long as he's eating. I don't want to get too close because I don't want to scare him. I want to keep him in the moment. As long as he's eating, I just want to kind of stay back. I don't think the zoom's very good, you know, focus-wise, but we can kind of see. I don't shake. So he's still, you know, knobbing on it. Whoa. Yeah, I'm shaking this camera kind of a lot, so sorry if you guys are about to die. But, you know, that's a quick little, you know, I guess, put some knowledge on some people, and, you know, just kind of give a brief overview. Next video, I'll probably do an update on this tank. You could probably see that I got pretty good growth going, so I'll definitely do an update. I probably won't do an update on the puffer itself, and you know, I'll always update you guys on, you know, when I do videos of this tank, but, you know, I probably won't do an official, like, just whole video on the puffer itself for a while, you know, just kind of feel him out, just see what he does, and, you know, all the tanks go nice. The S-Repens are really filling in that round around the rock like I wanted to, so. But yeah, the two foods I really recommend. You could definitely still feed him bloodworms after you get him on clams. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure his main food is mostly clams in the long run. But maybe like once a week you can feed him bloodworms. That's totally fine. You just don't want him getting, because people might ask like, "Oh, my puffer loves bloodworms. Just keep feeding him that." Well, yeah, they of course they'll still love it, but in the long run, that's not going to help your puffer. And some puffers that might just be just fine, like dwarf puffers, that would be perfectly fine. But with these puffers with teeth that are noticeable, especially as Amazon, the teeth grow pretty fast. It's very important that you do that, because if you don't do anything about it, the teeth are gonna get too big and it won't be able to eat at all, and it'll basically starve. And then a fish like this that's very expensive you just killed. So, and if eventually, especially with the Amazon, you know, doing this is not going to keep his teeth trimmed all the way. So maybe eventually I'll have to, take some, and I will get a video on this because this will be interesting. I'll have to go in and actually physically trim its teeth with the tool that I'll show you guys eventually. I'll have to buy that sometime, probably in a couple months. There's no worries right now, but just kind of see how everything goes right now. But yeah, that's the video. You guys want to donate, link in the description, or my about section on the YouTube channel. All that's all the links are always there. um Subscribe if you didn't get a headache watching this. But other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on 500 subscribers.